Hey guys, this is Whyt Manga here with a new video, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you guys about wands, orbs, and cloaks and how they're depicted in my comic, Apple Black. For those who don't know me, I'm the creator of Apple Black. You can read the first 4 chapters of Apple Black free, or you can read the first 9 chapters in Volume 1, also available. All the links you could possibly need will be in the description below. Apple Black is published and serialized in Saturday AM. And for those who don't know what Saturday AM is a digitally diverse anthology magazine that features several interesting comics, including Apple Black. Also within the description, you can check out the survey that we have there, that if you fill out the survey, you get a free signed Saturday AM wallpaper done by me in Comic Draw, and you can also vote for your most popular or favorite Apple Black character in the popularity poll that will also appear in Volume 2 when Volume 2 is released. Both surveys for the Comic Draw app, where you get the free wallpaper, and where you can vote for the Apple Black popularity poll, will be in the description below. And if you vote for your favorite character, you get a free season of Saturday AM, which is 5 issues. 5 free Saturday AM issues where you can check us out and see what we're about. We always have our previous latest issue free to read on the site until a new issue comes out, and then the issue before that one becomes the new free issue. So there's always a free issue to read on the site itself. Links to that, my social media, subscribing for the magazine, which is just $5 a year, and so much more will be in the description, so y'all have fun with that. So here in this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how I depict wands and how they work in my comic, wands, orbs, and cloaks, and what they are and how they work. Now, traditionally, I'm sure you guys are familiar with some of these terms, especially the wand one, which I feel is the most popular one, when you look at titles and series like Harry Potter or shows that have some form of wizardry in it. You know, you have wands, and they're usually depicted with like a sorcerer or a wizard or a witch or whatever holding like a little tiny stick, and that's the wand that they use it to cast spells. Well, the difference here is that in Apple Black, a wand can literally be anything, and that thing, whatever it is used to cast spells. And you can cast spells without wands, but using wands help amplify the effects of the spell being casted. Not all sorcerers will use these items, especially like the really strong ones who maybe they don't feel that they need orbs or wands or anything of that nature to amplify their effects or their powers in battle. But wands are usually there to enhance. Sorcerers who use wands to amplify and enhance the effects of their spells. Any object can become a wand once it's undergone the appropriate ritual procedures. And examples of potential wands could be guitars, lenses, sticks, long staffs, whips, hand knuckle shoes, swords, pens, brushes, ink, paper, bows and arrows, clocks, guns, hammers, cigarettes, gloves, the list goes on. You know, obvious things would be like maybe a wand as a sword, so that would be like, you know, using your sword to cast spells, and maybe, you know, you can fire things out of the sword, whatever. You know, those are kind of like the conventional things, especially within the shonen realms of comics. But you can also imagine, you know, what a skateboard wand would be and how that would work and what it would do. And sometimes some of these wands take different shapes depending on their user, or depending on whatever state of mind their user is in. And I'll go into more detail with that when I kind of explain further about the power system within the world. But there will be wands that can kind of like almost level up and change shape, and maybe even be stronger, or you know, go from an inactive state to an active state where they can actually be used, where maybe their state prior is just a state of rest, where they're just you know, they're useless in that state, so they have to be activated. So basically some wands have to be activated and some don't. Each wand is very different from the next. The same way sorcerer abilities differ based on their tribes and where they're from and their ancestors and things of that nature. A good example of a sorcerer activating a wand is, you can see it in chapter 1 with Fatimanga and his wand Neroneza, where he calls the wand's name and what he wants it to do. Almost all wands, at least the good ones, have names, and that kind of makes the wand a little more personal, especially to its user. I've always thought that naming your items is always a cool way to make things personal, and it's also a popular theme when it comes to, you know, titles alike. So, you know, the inspiration comes from shows like Game of Thrones, naming some of the swords, some of the Valyrian steel swords with like Oathkeeper and, you know, things of that nature. But then you also have it done in shonen titles as well, like Bleach. So a lot of inspiration comes from that and things like that I've been exposed to. And you also have the naming of wands, and also in films like Harry Potter and so on. You can find several examples of wands themselves in the comic. We've already seen some cigarettes being used where maybe some of the smoke can actually be poisonous, or it can slow the opponent down, or you can make some smoke clones, or have a mist where you can hide within, etc. We've seen fans, we've seen swords, but I think here with wands, it allows me weaponize almost any item. Like literally, if I wanted to make a character whose weapon was a microphone or a belt or a jukebox or a pen, and I could come up with how to weaponize that pen and how the wand will actually work. So imagine someone's glasses is their wand, and maybe one lens is convex and the other lens is concave, and when they take the lens out, maybe it can disorient their opponent and disorient their vision, and maybe the opponent then doesn't see properly and becomes vulnerable. I can make rules on how the other opponent perceives the world now that the effects of one of the lenses have been, casted on him, and maybe the other lens from the glasses could turn into a scythe, and that's the active, more action-based weapon that the character can use. Maybe someone's weapon is a jukebox, and maybe what you hear from that jukebox affects you in some way depending on whatever the user wants. I think the way I use wands in Apple Black opens the door for a lot of potential. Imagine if someone's wand was dice, and if they roll a 1, something happens. If they roll a 2, something different happens. If they roll a 6-6, something superb happens. There's a lot of potential. So now we have a good idea of what wands are. So what are orbs? Orbs are items usually attached to parts of clothing that allow users to absorb impulse from their surroundings, converting it to theirs. Orbs can allow sorcerers cast spells for longer periods of time before the orbs themselves overheat. Think of impulse as the energy source in Apple Black. And just like any other energy source, you can run out of this. So if you don't want to run out, you can use orbs to take from the surroundings. You can take impulse from your surroundings and use it to your advantage to continue to cast spells. Like I explained in previous videos, when black hit the earth and turned humans into sorcerers and all that good stuff, it also affected all living things surrounding it, including plants and animals. So there are things in your surroundings that have impulse that you can steal from, and what you use to steal are the orbs that you use to absorb, get it? Impulse, and continue casting spells. So imagine if you're up against a sorcerer with a lot of impulse, you can keep up because you have orbs on. The orbs don't make you stronger or amplify your spells, but they provide you a lot of juice to cast spells. So, if you suck, you still suck regardless of whether you're wearing an orb or not. And then you can only use them for so long before they overheat and you're screwed. And then the last thing I want to talk about are the literal cloaks. Not cloaks as in an officer of Eden like I explained in previous videos, but the cloaks that you wear to also show that you're an officer of Eden along with a badge. Some of those cloaks are special in that they can have other abilities. So similar to how Harry Potter you can have the invisibility cloak, there are invisibility cloaks in Apple Black as well. But here in Apple Black I expand on it, and there are other cloaks that can do more. You have Cloak of Flight where you can fly, maybe an infinity cloak that allows you store items, an infinite amount of items within the cloak, whether it be wands, orbs, or whatever you want to store within it, but it's infinite. So you can have imagine a sorcerer who has the infinity cloak, and he can just pull out the longest sword from his back where it wouldn't make sense for the sword to even fit, but the cloak allows it. So yeah, those are the only things I wanted to talk about in this video. I have other videos that dive into a little bit about Apple Black without giving away too many spoilers, because I still want Apple Black to be experienced primarily through the books, or at least animation. So don't forget to vote in the popularity poll for Apple Black. Don't forget to like this video so I know you guys like these kind of videos so I can make more of them. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Hit the bell so you stay notified each time I upload anything. Apple Black Volume 2 is done. I repeat, it is done. All the actual pages and stuff is done. So just stay tuned, and have a trailer coming soon, and it'll have the release date and all that cool stuff. It is done, guys. So yeah, it's Whyt Manga, and I'm out.